Hello everyone, hope you are fine and better. My name is Sumit. I am back with the new video. Today we will discuss about the composition of blood and hematopoiesis. Blood is a fluid connective tissue. It circulates around the body through the blood vessels due to the pumping action of the heart. Arterial blood carries oxygen and nutrients to all the body cells, and venous blood carries carbon dioxide and the other metabolic waste away from the cells. In addition to the transport of gases, nutrients and waste, blood has many other functions. The removal of waste such as carbon dioxide, urea and lactic acid from the body tissue. Defending the body against infection by the microorganism and the parasites, the repair of damaged body tissues, the transport of chemical messages such as hormones and hormone-like substances. Then, the control of body pH, the normal pH of blood is the range of 7.35 to 7.45. The control of body temperature. Blood is a colloid, a mixture of tiny particles dispersed evenly in a fluid, and it accounts for about the 7% of the human body weight. The average adult has a blood volume of roughly 5 liters, which is composed of a fluid that's called the plasma and several kinds of cells. Within the blood plasma are erythrocytes, that is red blood cells, leukocytes, that is white blood cells, thrombocytes, that is platelets and other substances. Then next is plasma. Plasma is the golden yellow liquid part of the blood. Plasma is about 90% water and 10% dissolved materials include proteins, glucose, ions, hormones and the gases. It acts as a buffer which help to maintaining the pH of the blood. Maintaining pH near about the 7.4. Plasma is about 54% the volume of blood cells, and the fragment makes up about the 46% of the volume. Then we will talk about the red blood cells. Red blood cells, also known as the erythrocytes, they are flattened, doubly concave cells that carry the oxygen. There are about 4 to 6 million cells per cubic millimeter of the blood. Red blood cells make up about the 45% of the blood volume. As shown, red blood cells is make up about the 45% of their blood volume. Each red blood cells has a 200 million hemoglobin molecules. Humans have a total of 25 trillion red blood cells, about that is 1:3 of all the cells in the body. Red blood cells are continuously made in the red marrow of long bones, ribs, the skull and the vertebrae. Each red blood cells lives for only 128 days or 120 days, after which they are destroyed in the liver and in the spleen. Mature red blood cells do not have a nuclei or other organelles. They contain the protein hemoglobin, which gives blood its red color. The iron containing heme portion of the hemoglobin enables the protein to carry the oxygen to the cells. Heme binds to the molecules of oxygen, which increases the ability of the blood which is carry the oxygen or other gases. Iron from hemoglobin is recovered and reused by the red bone marrow. The liver degrades the heme units and secretes them as a pigment in the bile, which is responsible for the color of faces. Each second, 2 million red blood cells are produced to replace those taken out of circulation. Then we'll talk about the white blood cells. White blood cells, also known as the leukocytes, they are generally larger than the red blood cells, as shown. They are larger from the red blood cells. They have a nucleus but do not have a hemoglobin. So that's why they not seen show a red color. White blood cells make up a less than 1% of the blood volume. They are made of stem cells in the bone marrow. They function in the cellular immune response system. There are 5 types of white blood cells, that is neutrophils enter the tissue system. Their fluid by squeezing through the capillary walls, and phagocyte, that is swallow foreign bodies. Then next is macrophages, also swallow and destroy cell debris and bacteria or viruses. White blood cells is shown phagocytizing to bacteria. Macrophages also release the substance that cause the number of white blood cells to increase. The antigen as well as antibody complexes are swallowed by the macrophages. Lymphocytes fight the infection. T cells attack cells containing viruses. B cell produce the antibodies. Then next we will talk about the platelets. Platelets, also known as thrombocytes, which is important in blood clotting. Platelets are cell fragments that bud off bone marrow cells called megakaryotes. A platelets is shown make up less than the 1% of the blood volume. Platelets carry the chemicals essential to the blood clotting. They change fibrinogen into the fibrin. It is a protein that creates a mesh onto which red blood cells collect, forming a clot. This clot stops more blood from the leaving the body and also helps to prevent bacteria from entering to the body. Platelets survive for 10 days before being removed by the liver and the spleen. There are 1,50,000 to 3 lakh platelets in each millimeter of blood is present. Platelets stick to the tears in a blood vessel and they release the clotting factors. Then we will talk about the other blood components. Blood plasma also contains substances other than the water. Some important components of blood include the following: serum albumin, a plasma protein that acts as a transporter of hormones and other molecules. Antibodies, proteins that are used by the immune system to identify and destroy the foreign objects such as bacteria and viruses. Then next is hormones. Hormones are the chemical messenger that are produced by one cell and carried to another. Then next is electrolytes such as sodium and chloride ions. Then we will talk about the hematopoiesis. Hematopoiesis begins with an originator cell common to all blood cell types. It called a hematopoietic stem cell, that is HSC, and hematopoietic stem cells develop into a precursor cell or a blast cell. A precursor cell is on a track to become a specific type of blood cells, but it's still in the early stages. A precursor cell goes through several cell divisions and changes before it becomes a fully mature blood cells. Then the specific types of hematopoiesis include the erythropoiesis, that is red blood cell production. Then next is leukopoiesis, in that white blood cells production can be happen. And thrombopoiesis, that is platelet production. With each change, an originator cell becomes more specialized as well as specialized, less like a stem cell and more like a red blood cells, white blood cells, or the platelets. This is all about the blood composition and the hematopoiesis. Thank you.